Welcome. In front of me is a VIVO X300 Pro, and today I'll be showing you how you can go through the setup process of this device. So, when you boot it up for the very first time, you should be presented with the same screen that you can see on my end, which is the hi, let's start, and you want to start by actually changing the language and region probably. Now, right now it's selected English UK, and God forbid I would ever want to be considered like I'm from UK. I personally prefer my, freedom of speech and other things, and as a UK who is claiming that they do have it, oddly enough, they tend to take you to prison for speaking freely. Because God forbid you call someone a faggot. Oh no, that's criminal offense, you go to prison. So I'm going to be selecting English right here, and when you choose one language, it automatically changes it, or not changes it, but gives you the option to choose other regions, which I sure shit won't be selecting UK. And even if I lived there, I wouldn't want to select that. So you know what, I'm going to change something that doesn't sound familiar. There we go. And from here we can just go to the next page. Now, actually, I do want to talk about a bit more extensively about the regions. Now, I don't really know if this will affect it in that way or not, but I do want to kind of give you just a heads up. Now, UK, just to give like a example right here. UK, and they're not the only ones, but they're the first ones that come to my mind. Is a country that obviously has supposedly freedom of speech, privacy, and all that bullshit that they claim that they have, but they don't. And they're also trying to lobby for basically companies like Android and other, and Apple and stuff like that, to give them backdoor into their systems. Meaning, so UK government can have easy entrance to all your personal information on your phone without your permission. And the first time they tried, obviously that didn't go so well, and we did find out as you know, customers. But if they do pass this somehow, we won't know, because back then, in this case, the companies will be obligated to keep this a secret. Which, great, go screw yourself, UK. But I'm pointing that out is because UK isn't the only one, and obviously if you select UK, you're definitely going to fall under this kind of law that they have, or this backdoor. But theoretically, I'm saying, like, really, this is hypothetical. I can't really check it. I'm not in a government, and if I was, it's not like I would be even able to tell you that. But theoretically, if you select that maybe you're from US, then your phone region supposedly doesn't fall under the same rules as the UK phones that are supposedly there. Now, I don't know if it's actually using geolocation of the device and services, or if it's taking the region in consideration. If it's taking the region, then that would be a fix, semi-fix. But if it's not, then obviously it won't really help you no matter what region you choose. And what would help you is installing Graphene OS. Privacy for the win. Anyway, moving on, we can select our location. So again, we can follow the same kind of logic here, select a location that I guess wouldn't be in UK, if you personally prefer to try at least to have some personal privacy, which I know is a foreign concept right now. I'm going to be changing it to Poland. Shit, at the moment, I think in European Union, this is probably the best place. Just kind of ironic, but anyway. Moving on, we have agreements and terms. So we have end user license agreement, which you can select learn more to read exactly what kind of bogus you're agreeing to. And we do have to basically select the box right here that we have read and agreed to the above. So also have the privacy terms. Anyway, let's move on to the next page without actually ever reading a single word of that, because that's really what everyone does. Next, we have set up using another device. So if you have another device, you should get a pop-up like this. So set up X300 Pro. So it lets me know that I can set it up. and by selecting the setup button right here, I would be able to just quickly move over all the data that is associated with my Google account, I should specify, to this device. Now, what is associated with my Google account will be very limited, as I do, again, kind of value my privacy a little bit more. And again, that's kind of moronic considering I'm using a Google phone, I know. But because of that, whatever I would be moving is actually much less information than what typical person would have associated with their account. And also, that being said, this is technically moving over what is on the cloud, not on the phone, defeating the purpose a little bit of this. So what it does is, if I remember this correctly, it moves over your account. I basically just confirm that, yeah, I want to sign in this account, and then the data that is associated with that account will be then re-downloaded on this phone. So it's not actually being moved from the old one, it's being just re-downloaded. If you have some kind of applications on the other device that you downloaded on that specific account on the Play Store, then this device will now download these applications and install them. If you downloaded all the applications through the web browser, through APKs, you then be sure that you're not going to be installing any applications through that method. Basically, the phone will go retarded for a moment and be like, there's no applications to download. Because apparently, APKs are not the file that Play Store installs. Sarcastically speaking, it obviously is. But as long as it didn't came from there, Google refused to basically do its damn job. So anyway, we're going to select skip anyway, because this means absolutely F all. It's absolutely useless garbage anyway. And there are much better ways to transfer over the data that don't include Google, which is useless. Anyway, next we have connect to network. And here you can basically connect to your Wi-Fi network. Now this step is completely optional and you don't need to go through this. You can select set it up offline. Now it does give you this quick pop-up, set in offline mode. And by doing so, we won't be able to sign in to a Google account, restore apps and data, get software updates, and enable automatic time and date settings. Thank you, Vivo, for actually giving us the pop-up with correct information. I'm ragging on Samsung, which decided to remove this and give bullshit info about what you won't be able to do, which they literally lie about. Great. So here I like to give it a fact that, Vivo at least kept the default options and just give it a little bit more interesting flair in how it looks like. We're going to select continue and disregard this. And then move to the set unlock method. And we have several different ways of going about it. So we have fingerprint, face recognition, and under screen lock we have pin pattern or password. Now, if you're planning to protect your device, which I do recommend you do, because it is your phone, so it stores all your personal information, your photos, contacts, and all that stuff, I highly recommend you protect your phone. And you will want to start off with the screen lock right here. As if you're planning to even use the face or fingerprint or both, you will always be required to select screen lock, as these two are biometrics, and biometrics aren't 100% reliable. So in the time where they just decide to have a CC fit and not recognize you for no freaking reason, maybe because there is a tiny little blemish on the camera and it no longer recognizes you, you would be left with unlocking your device through pin pattern or password, which no matter what kind of tiny blemish you have or on the fingerprint sensor or on the camera, you can always unlock it as long as you put it in correctly. And the only time you might have problem with that is when you're absolutely wasted. So select this, and then you can choose one of those. Now, even if you try to select fingerprint, as you can see, it automatically prompts you to choose a screen lock. And I'm gonna select the pattern right here just for this. Boom, once, twice, there we go, it's set. Now I'm actually not gonna be adding the fingerprints. I'm gonna select cancel right here and just move on to the next page. And the next page is Google services. So we have services like location, scanning, and sending user and diagnostic data. Now, I do want to point out, this page is absolutely effing useless. It literally means nothing other than to literally lie to you. And we can turn all of these off, but I do want to point out, just bear with me. Because you probably think that by turning off location, your device won't be tracked in terms of where it's located in the damn world. Well, you would be freaking wrong, because you still have a SIM card in it most likely, which that is basically being tracked through cell towers. So every time you connect to a cell tower, the phone detects which cell tower, so it knows exactly where you're located at. Or maybe not exactly, but other phones around you basically connect to each other, and well, that's more exact location. So cool, you have no location, so you have no GPS, Wi-Fi, and slow tracking. But you do have tracking through Bluetooth. If you connect to other device, or if other device detects you, it automatically basically kind of like sends the information where said and said device, Bluetooth like IP or whatever it uses is, which is basically assigned to your phone, which essentially means that you're being tracked anyway, even though it's turned off. So that's one thing. Allow scanning, let's be honest, it does this all the time. And last thing is send user and diagnostic data. If you turn that off, then such a bullshit shouldn't be happening, but yet it does. And send user and diagnostic data would, in my mind, also should technically imply that whatever you talk about and whatever you search for shouldn't be sent to Google. Therefore, your AdSense like accounts that are associated with you shouldn't be getting information that, hey, you might be searching for dog food, but you can be sure as shit that the moment I start talking about dog food right now and your phone can hear that, it will start to give you dog food ads in a couple days. You can probably check it. If your phone can hear me, dog food will be your new recommendations in ads. You're welcome. Anyway, so take these options as absolutely useless. They mean absolutely shit. And you can turn them off, but it's like you kind of, going on your knees to Google and being like, please Google, don't spy on me. And Google's like, huh, psych loser, we're still gonna do it. So for absolute security and privacy, again, graphene is the way to go. Now, graphene is actually going to be expanding to non-Pixel devices because Pixel decided to lock it away from them. Good job, Google. You really know how to piss people off. So anyway, now I do want to point out I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just do personally like privacy. And when it comes down to it, graphene is basically like the middle finger. That and also ad nauseum for your extension on the browser. Highly recommend it. If you ever wanted to screw with ads as much as possible, get that extension. Now it is available on Firefox because of course Google deleted it because it absolutely F's with the ads and how you're being tracked by literally clicking on all of them, costing every company money because you're interacting with all of them, but it's not really visible for you, but it is visible as a statistics, which the statistics become absolutely useless. Amazing extension, I'd recommend it. Moving on, we have getting your device ready. Keep the system up to date, so you can either select next, which will be updated automatically, or you can select the manual one right here, so install manually. It's really up to you. Now, next we have send user and diagnostic data. Now, the previous one that I mentioned was from Google. Now, this one is from VIVO. Now, again, I highly doubt this does anything, so take that in consideration. I might be selecting disagree, but the only reason I do this is in hopes that maybe in the future someone will find a way to prove that all these companies are full of shit, and there will be a nice, class action lawsuit that everyone will benefit from monetarily. So anyway, next we have services recommendations. So TWS services, you can read exactly what this is. It is enabled by default. You can turn it off if you don't want it. Moving on. System navigation. So we have 3-button navigation or gestures. Now for buttons, you can actually switch where the back button is, either left or right. And for gestures, we get nothing. Now there is actually options for gestures in the settings under display. So if you want to change the things in there for sensitivity and maybe having the gesture bar visible or invisible as it is visible by default, you can go in there and kind of hide that away. But anyway, that about sets up the device. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.